We're going to look at how to scratch cut this wall. So first things first is to wet the wall down before we scratch. The wall is pretty dry, so we can give it a good soak in. Just a key for it, just to give it some suction when we put the render on the wall. Another thing you want to check is that the wall is nice and clean and there's no bits sticking out from it, because this is new work. We haven't got to worry about that. You will get the odd bit down here like that, so knock those bits off with the hammer. We don't have to worry about them, they're lower enough down. But if it's an old wall, just make sure you've washed it off. Any algae, anything like that, or moss growing on it, just get that washed off. Okay, so you want to load your hawk up and you want to push it in. You're looking for a round sort of 12mm. For the two coats, it's about 25mm overall. So get it right to the top, try not to get any gaps there, and work your way across in a section like so. And work in from the edges. And work your way up like that then. So a wall like this will be harder than a taller wall, because you're just bending down all the time. So just keep working your way across. Try and keep it as flat as you can. It just makes it easier, but you can use a straight edge to flatten it off after. Don't worry too much if you're starting out. So keep working your way across, nice and flat. Okay, so now it's all been laid on. If you're not too happy about how flat it's gone on, you can always use a straight edge. So we've got a 1200mm straight edge here, and you can just run that up the wall nice and gently, take off any high spots. Just hold two hands on it and work your way along. Don't take too much off, just go lightly. We've got a smaller straight edge now, and you can just go a bit of a diagonal, nice and gently. Just take off any high spots. So before we put any beads on, we're going to scratch it, which gives a key for the top coat. So if you're going up to a coping or something like this, you just want to go straight like that, and the rest of it can be wavy then, like so. So just cross over the straight one you've done like that, and just put wavy lines into it. Don't dig in too much, you don't want to go all the way through to the block, but you want enough key in there and it's got something to bite into. If there's any bits you can't reach at the bottom, something like that. So straight across the top. The reason you go straight across the top, if you go wavy across the top, you won't be able to fully get in there and there'll be a gap with no key in it. So that's the reason I do that. Again, just wavy. Okay, so that's everything scratched up, so there's a nice key there. Before we get on to putting the beads on, you just want to give everything a wash off. Keep everything as clean as you can. Makes life easier. Nice stiff brush. With the beads now, we've got these plastic beads, which I think they're 12 to 15 millimeters depth on them. You can get big, slightly bigger ones, but I prefer to use these ones. We push them into the scratch then. So what we want to do, we want to do a few dabs of mortar here to push the bead into. Right, I find it easier if you use a gauging trowel to put it on. Just throw it on or dab it on like that. It wants enough to bite into. Don't worry if it's too much. So as long as it's got something to bite into. Like so. Okay, I've already cut the bead to length, which is this side here. Sadly, this level's only going to work for one way, so we'll have to use a smaller level on the other side of it. So, just gently push it into your dabs and just work it in like that, just so it's got enough to grip into. You can just lightly push some of the mortar plaster down to hold it. Just to give it some hold. Okay, so you can just give it a quick plumb up just to see how you're looking. That's not bad there. Check this way as well. Hit the bottom end. That's good. Okay, once you're happy with it being fairly plumb, you can just range it in to make sure it's not going to be too thick on one end. At the moment, that's looking like it's too thick here because it's probably at least 15 mil there. So we're just going to bring that in a bit. Just range that in again. Okay, still a touch on the thick side, so we're just going to bring it in a touch more. Should be good this time. Just plumb it up again now. Okay, you can range that through now. It's not a bad depth at all there. So you're aiming for 12 mil, but you know, 12 to 15 mil is pretty good. So you can just scrape off any excess there. So what you tend to find is on the beads, where you've got your plaster there, it tends to be quite thin, so it dries faster on the edge of the bead. So you want to try and make sure it's not too thick there. But it's not on too thick now, otherwise you just end up with a really thin coat on there. And you can just range that one through as well. That's only going to be one coat, that one, so it'll be fine. Just going to check that again before we scratch that. Just give that a little tap there. If you do move it, you have to check it both ways, not just the way you moved it. So that's good. Just going to check we're happy with that. That's good there. Okay, so now we can just scratch that bead in. Same on the other side there.